Hi, I'm Greg Gavaziak.
And I'm Luke Phillips.
And this is the Semi Crazy Podcast, the podcast by truckers, for truckers. It actually made a beep when we hit record.
That was me.
Oh. That's funny now. I was like, oh, that's a good thing to have.
Right? No, that was just timing. That's all that was.
Yeah. So this is coming through okay?
Yeah, you're good on my end. Are you?
Yeah, no, I went through like 3 different microphone things, and this seems to be working, so I'm just going to go with it.
Copy that.
Yeah. So
you got some stuff with your dad then?
No, not yet, but I will.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go do that in a bit, so not a big deal.
Roger.
NBD, as they say.
That's right. All right. We're already recording a minute in, so let's fucking do this.
Okay. Dive right in.
I'd like to take a moment to address something that's going on with somebody that's in the industry. His name's Jarret Forth. I don't know if anybody else is very aware of what's going on, but he's had some health issues going on the last year that they haven't been able to diagnose. And it seems like now they're leaning towards Lyme disease. But unfortunately, they have to go to Mexico to get any sort of treatment for that. And that, as we all know, it's been a tough time for everybody. So he is asking for, not asking, but there is a GoFundMe page going on for him. It'll be posted with a link with this podcast. It'll be on my Instagram, and it's on his Instagram. His Instagram name is O4, OH, and then spelt out 4, Parkside Transport. And anybody who's a truck freak knows his trucks. He's got a cab over Peterbilt with a bunch of frame, and he's got a truck like mine, a little newer, that he rebuilt. And yeah, it's just a tough go. They held Spady Farms held a truck show for him yesterday, which unfortunately I couldn't make it to, but
yeah, me neither.
Yeah, it just didn't work out. Seeing all the Instagram posts about it, I wish I would have, but
yeah, it's really nice to see that kind of support, and to see that that things are, that people are getting on this. And I mean, that's a really tough go for anybody to have that kind of a health problem. That's something that's not easy to diagnose or to treat, right?
No, and I've never had the pleasure or yet to have the pleasure of meeting Jarret. I've talked to him on Instagram. I've seen him up and down the road lots, always big wave, just the kind of guy that you get a smile on your face after passing him going down the road, right? So it's very unfortunate, and it'd be nice and it is nice to see how the industry is banding together to help a brother in need.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the most important thing to get that message out here, is that we are just one, we are a small family, really. The industry is that, and we need to support each other. So if anybody has, if you can in any way possible, give to the GoFundMe for him to help him get the treatment that he needs. I mean, it's hard to
every dollar counts.
Yeah,
it's I've been amping myself up for all morning to talk about this, and it's just tough. I mean, a good buddy of mine grew up with him hauling their family's grain, right? And he's been in the area trucking his whole life, or as my whole life at least. And he's just a good guy. So yeah, if any little bit helps, right? Even if it's a couple dollars, anything, right? They've also got an auction where you can donate stuff, and then the proceeds go to it. So if anybody's interested in that, just shoot me a message on Instagram and I can dig into it a little bit more.
Yeah, no, and that's it. And it's amazing that you're doing that work, that extra work too. Like, and a big shout out to all the guys that are helping along with this, kind of get it going, and that because
Yeah, and that truck show is a prime example, like I first heard about that on Wednesday and they held it on Saturday. So the planning that those guys came up with in that short of time to get a venue and get everything like that is just it speaks volumes to where we're at in the industry, right? And yeah, it all comes back to we're just a big family, right? We're all in this together. So
yeah,
not
yeah, no,
I'm not
absolutely.
trying to
So
not trying to say, oh, everybody has to go donate by any means, but any little bit helps, and they're a family in a trying time.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, and especially given the current climate and the COVID, everything else. I mean, that just makes getting treatment and getting all that stuff all the more difficult, right? So, like you say, any little bit helps, and we'll keep working to get the word out here, and yeah, hopefully they can hit their goal and he gets his treatment and he gets better.
Yeah, I know the GoFundMe page. The goal is $50,000, um, which honestly to me seems a little bit light for going all the way to Mexico for a treatment, right? But it's it's at $20,000 now, and
Nice.
that's just from just 100 or 200 people donating. So it really goes to show that the little bit does add up, right? We can make a difference.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's it's something that I've seen over and over again in trucking, like with being involved in the truck shows and that. Um, is there's some of the most generous and giving people are behind the wheel of a truck or own a small company or whatever. Like it is really amazing to see. And I mean, how many times you go to those things and you see people and they donate it right back. Um, everything from, like I say, at smaller truck shows. I mean, sometimes going to AMTA things. I've seen people donate stuff back at auctions there too. So I mean, it's a great industry for that. But yeah, when something like this comes up, a person's got to make sure that you kind of shout it from the rooftops so that everybody knows what's going on, and help a brother out, right?
Yeah, and that's exactly it, right? I mean, like I said, I've never met him, but I know that if it was anybody else and he was on the other side of it, he would be doing everything he can. So,
Yeah,
uh, yeah, it's a tough spot, 100%, but it is renews some faith for me anyway that we are still all in this together and seeing just the small community that I'm exposed to, um, band together like that. Like, I opened my Instagram this morning when I woke up at 5:30 in the morning, and I scrolled. Well, everything that was on there was about that truck show,
yeah,
right? And I'm really disappointed I can't make it or I couldn't make it, but I'll be donating because I couldn't make it. Doesn't just means that I spent less money on fuel to get down there, so he ends up with more in the end.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And I like we talked earlier, I plan on doing the same. Uh, Being in Manitoba right now, I wasn't able to get out there on short notice either. But I'll be put in the same as you, and yeah, uh, hard to actually kind of tough to talk about stuff like that. I I
It
don't uh,
is, yeah.
I don't like you say I know him from the online presence, and met him at a truck show here or there, and but yeah, it I mean, really, when it comes right down to it, I mean, you and I didn't know each other except from online up until not that long ago, right? And plenty of other friends. I mean, you see guys going up and down the road, and always wave or talk or whatever, but you may not have much of a chance to meet them, and I don't know, like I
Oh,
say,
and
hard to.
that's exactly it. I don't want to beat this issue to death, but I just looked it up on Spady Farms post here because he's the one who organized the truck show, and
Yeah,
they raised over $1,800 yesterday,
nice, very nice.
and Jarret actually commented on here, uh, just saying he can't believe the support that people are doing for him, and he's so thankful. He's in the U.S. right now, and he's off to Mexico. Like, so in the post it says tomorrow, so that'd be today. He's on his way to Mexico, so it's good to see that they're going in the right direction. And without that GoFundMe account, they never would have made it this far. So, yeah, just a big shout out to anybody that has donated or will donate, and is just keeping the industry a good place to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just support your fellow truckers, and it doesn't matter. There's really no limit to that, right? As to who it is or where it is, we're all in this together. I mean, new, old, young, like you know, like yeah, everybody's in this together. So
Yeah, and taking that a little step further, we are all in this together, and keeping that up front in your mind when you're going down the road makes a big difference too. Like if you see somebody pulled over with the hood up and the triangles out, stop. It's going to take 10 minutes out of your day, 10, 15 minutes out of your day. But you don't know if that guy has been there for 8 hours and he needs to ride to town, or you just never know. I stopped for a guy last week, I think it was, and because it looked like he had a coolant leak, to be honest. But once I pulled over and walked back to him, it was he blew a hole in the side of his block. So I didn't have enough JB Weld to help that guy, but
you can only do so much, eh?
that's right. A proper podcaster would have had his laptop plugged in already, Greg. Come on.
Yeah. Oh shit. Just hang on a sec here.
Oh
You can
yeah.
keep talking.
Actually, coming back to that social media thing and it being a very good way to network, I actually had the opportunity a couple weeks ago to meet a fella that I've been talking to on social media for probably over 2 years now. He's from Fort Nelson. Managed to get time to run into him, so it is it's cool the way that social media is helping us, as much as it can be a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get on there in the morning, you just shake your head at some stuff, or I've had mornings where I wake up to quite a few messages, and yeah, sure, I'm still take the time to reply to everybody that
Yeah.
messages me. So anybody that does message me, I do read it, I do appreciate it, and I try to get back to you as soon as I can. Sorry if that takes a couple days sometimes, but we're Greg and I are both still out here trucking.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's not always easy just to hit every message and to get back to everybody as quick as you want to, but I always like I try to do the same thing and get back as quick as I can. I mean, sometimes it takes a few days, sometimes it's just within the hour. It just depends on when you see the comment, right? But I really
Yeah,
appreciate
exactly.
all this. Yeah, just really appreciate all the support we've got so far, and hope to keep building on that, right?
Yeah, and we took last weekend off for various reasons, but it was really cool to see the guys that messaged us and tagged us in posts complaining that we didn't do something, because it's very easy when we're doing this to get lost. We're on the road 5 days a week, or 6-7 days a week, and to make a couple hours for this, some days I find myself at least questioning, is this really doing what we wanted it to do? But
Is
last week
anybody
really,
listening?
yeah, exactly, right? Like, are we just
Yeah.
wasting our time? But it's a nice feeling to know that we're not.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I know I've done the same thing. Like say it's not always easy to make the time, and I mean we beat our technical difficulty thing to death, but I mean that also ends up usually taking us an extra hour or so for both of us with different things to get it going. So I mean it's not always easy. And I do think at some point we got to put the video up for this, because sometimes it is pretty comical. Um,
Yeah, that would have to be
way
unrated.
down
You
the
gotta
road.
subscribe. Yeah.
If it was, yeah,
Yeah.
if it was paid, I think I could get past it, right? But
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree. I agree.
because I
It
mean we're always in a different setting, or you've got well, and Luke just had a cat basically walk through the screen there. That was interesting.
Yeah, well, I'm just sitting out here on the patio, right?
Yeah, yeah. Or my
Um,
in nobody knowing there that I was trying to plug my laptop in frantically and can't find an outlet, but now I'm good.
and anybody that knows me knows that I'm the type that can't let something like that pass by. I got to give you a hard time whenever the possibility arises. Uh,
Yeah, and you should, because I mean I know I've given you enough shit about technical stuff, and here I don't even have my laptop plugged in. So
right? And I know we'll get in trouble for talking about technical difficulties again, but this morning my laptop didn't even want to stay on. So shout out to my dad for getting off the couch with his first cup of coffee and driving half an hour out to my place with his laptop to help me out. So
yeah, that's family support. I mean, usually it's with parts or something like that, but I mean, who knew that the old guy'd give you the tech support that you needed, right?
yeah, right. I probably shouldn't have admitted to that. Fuck. Oh, there's the first one of this episode.
Yeah.
Oops. Um, yeah, just kind of scatterbrained on my end, honestly, today, thinking about this whole situation we got going.
Oh yeah.
It's,
Well, you want to do a quick just rundown of your week, or I can do a rundown of mine. I mean, it's
yeah,
well,
let her rip, and I'll collect my thoughts here.
yeah, like well, over the last 2 weeks, I guess, because we've been gone 2 weeks. So I ended up um, leaving Edmonton for Saskatchewan last week and ran down to Regina, and then down to southern Saskatchewan, picked up a load of trailers, ran all the way back up to Fort St. John, unloaded there, reloaded in GP, which actually shout out to my Load King trailer. I will say I was quite impressed because I put a pump on there. Anybody that watches me on Insta will see I put this. I hauled a pump from the pulp mill in Grand Prairie, and it was 61 and change thousand pounds, anyways, and it was in 8 feet of trailer. So yeah, anybody who does deck work knows that's a fairly good concentration of weight in 8 feet of trailer, right? And it didn't make it sow bellied or anything like that. It took the bow out of it pretty good, but handled it really well. I was impressed. So yeah, hauled that down to Vancouver to get rebuilt, and wasn't able to get reloaded on the Friday. So I ended up stuck in the greater Vancouver area, but not stuck so much. Went on Saturday and took the ferry. So I caught the ferry, ran down over to the island, went to Duncan, and from there I just checked out the Forestry Museum and a few other things on the island. And there's just some really neat stuff over there. Old chainsaws and trucks and railway and just a ton of old logging stuff. And it was really neat to see it all. Was hoping to get together with a few other trucking guys that would be able to show me some old Pacifics and stuff, but maybe next time I'm out there I'll get to do that.
I'd like to hit that up one day. I'm a logging geek, as you know.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it was just really cool. I mean, you'd really enjoy it. And like I say, next time I'd like to get out there and see a few more trucks and find a few different old sawmills and stuff that that I know are out there. Maybe get up around the Campbell River area and there's so much such a rich history of that on the island and on the coast. It's really neat. So yeah, after my weekend there, I managed to get back over, get loaded on Monday, got some stuff for Edmonton and Fort McMurray, and ran that up that way.
Northern Alberta tour guide.
Yeah, my Northern Alberta tour guide. uh, Luke is the resident expert on all things Northern Alberta. Yeah, so every bit of this podcast is unedited. Um, well, with the exception of a little bit of editing, I will do after the fact. But yeah, I think everyone will realize how much better we sound when we have some help on the other side of it.
Perfect. So yeah, now everybody will realize how how long how, how this actually goes for us. Perfect. And you sound a lot better than you did when we first talked this morning. So either you're either you're on the hair of the dog or you're actually recovering. Yeah. I did not have that busy of a 2 weeks, to be honest. I started the first week. You're right. This is hard to remember. That's why we need to do this weekly. Um, it's been real wet around home here. So once I kicked off uh my load there on 2 Mondays ago, I ended up just coming home for a day. I came home Monday, and then it was about 11 o'clock on Tuesday, and I still couldn't find anybody that was dry enough to load me. So I ended up running down to Medicine Hat empty, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And just went from there, grabbed a load of fertilizer, and bounced around Saskatchewan like I normally do. And then this last week was pretty much more of the same, but just how it worked out, I only got 2 loads in this week with a bunch of empty kilometers, which, I say a bunch. For anybody that doesn't know, I do 95% of my kilometers per month are loaded. We do very, very minimal empty travel with the outfit that I'm with. So it's one of those things that you got to take the good with the bad and not let it affect you, and just enjoy running down the road. I mean, I got a taste of what you get every week, Greg, where you just get on the big street and kick it on cruise and you don't have to shift.
Oh yeah, I mean, I did have to do a little bit of that this week. I mean, I did have that. I had that bigger load on there. I mean, that was something.
Holy,
Oh, I mean, a gear.
can that Detroit handle that, or
Well, yeah, like say you barely have to drop a gear here or there.
a gear? Yeah,
Yeah, I know, right? Nothing quite like what you're doing every day, but
that's such a beautiful drive, eh? So many guys shit on Highway 40 from Hinton to Grand Prairie, and granted, the last, anything from Kakwa north, so your last 45 minutes is kind of shitty, but I love that drive up there.
oh yeah, yeah, me too. I mean, yeah, like you say, the last little bit of it's the worst, probably because it's busy and everything. But no, that's a really enjoyable drive.
Well, and that's the thing, is like that north section there is only shitty because it's so busy and there's so many
Mm,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Um that's exactly it. Yeah, just bit my tongue. Um
I know.
so yeah, I don't see why that's lots of guys don't like that drive. They'd rather go I've talked to quite a few guys here recently actually that go over to Whitecourt and then down like the Piers Highway, or even the back way into Edson there.
Mm.
I would take Highway 40 over that any day of the week.
Oh yeah, yeah, me too. I mean, and way longer drive, right? I mean, extra hour at least.
Oh, 100%. Even if you go 70 because the road's rough, the whole way up 40, you're still saving time than going to Whitecourt and down to Pierce.
Yeah, I mean, and actually, there's a good portion of that now is that it's in much better shape. I mean, you have they've taken and widened a bunch, like right south of Grand Cache, and I mean they're doing a bunch on the northern part of 40. So I mean, it's gotten a lot better. I mean, now when you're hauling a wide load down that way, you're not really worried about it like you used to be. Still not perfect, but I mean, much better than it was at one point. So yeah, no, I really enjoy that. I wish all the
Yeah.
they were. I wish they weren't taking all the curves out of most of the highways out there, right?
Oh, 100%.
There.
Yeah, so they take all the curves out of the road.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Your
Okay.
your video is lagging, but
Oh,
I
okay.
can hear you.
Okay. So you were saying, like we were saying, take all the curves out.
Yeah, I go. What highway is that now? Right. So Highway 18 from like Clyde Westlock over to Thorhill was the high load corridor that I did all the time when I was pulling wheels there up to Fort McMurray and back. And I drove that road, yeah, probably, well, every second day. And I
Yeah.
loved that road. Lots of guys hated it because 18 wide on the ground with a wheeler, and anybody that knows that road knows it's curvy, guardrails, no shoulder.
Yeah.
But that was the best 45 minutes of my whole trip to Fort McMurray because sure, you're only going, 60, 70, 80 like you normally are with a wheeler, but because there's so much going on, there's stuff going on, right?
hmm
But yeah, you see so many of these roads that they upgrade and they take the curves out of it, they reroute it. Just I don't get it. I enjoy those curvy stretches. I went on 18 the other day with the grain trailers, and granted, it wasn't as interesting as it used to be, but it's still a nice road. Same with Highway 37 from where it meets 43 to where it meets 44. There, that's a nice
Yeah.
road.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I still like that. I actually got out there with Bill Mitchell from Western Star. I went out and visited him one day, and he just had me come out there and said, "Here, grab, bring a helmet when you come." So we jumped on the bikes, and then his place is fairly close to 37, so we just ripped down there on two of his bikes, and then went out to Alberta Beach and came back around, eh? And yeah, that's a great road, on a bike or on in a truck, right? It's just
Yeah, I've actually got a pretty good story about that road. Uh, before my wife and was my wife, when we were dating, I was one of those things where you show up to load the load and they say they're gonna have the bucket off. It was a 988 loader going from
oh yeah, yeah.
Fallis to Villeneuve, and because of my height, I routed myself up that way, and they were gonna have the cleanup bucket on it. But when I showed up, they had the digging bucket on it, which was 14 some wide.
Mm.
So I call up Jessica and say, hey, typical me, I need a pilot like right now. What are you doing? And so she came out and piloted. That was the way we went. And that road is crazy to pilot on. I wouldn't want to pilot on it.
No,
No, there's
not
all
a not a
those wire rails, right? And then, oh well, where you'd stop traffic for the wire rails, I'm going to be in a corner or whatever, right? But it's it's a fun road. Done it with frac sand too in a Super B, which anybody that has been around frac sand knows how low it is in the trailer. And it's nice to have a low center of gravity. I just realized I admitted that I hauled frac sand. Shit.
I won't hold it against you.
I did 3 loads. 3 loads. That was it.
Yeah, I mean it's only the grain haulers that are really gonna slag you for that, anyways, isn't it? Or
Yeah. Yeah, I go get beat up in Saskatchewan now. I'm paddled from my other company, the guys that are on with the same company as I am.
oh, there you go. Yeah, no, I hold a little bit of that too. Actually, you know what else is really nice and low in the trailers is wood chips. You'd think that that's a high center of gravity load because they fill it right up, but those the bellies, I mean, your bellies are only like 8 inches off the ground, right? And so especially in the winter when you got good like wet green wood, you don't, you're not heaped right up with chips anyways. But that center of gravity is so low on those trailers. You can have fun. I used to always like just wheeling across on the Bear Lake Road if I came up from Edmond or up from Whitecourt to head to Hinton. And yeah, it was always fun on Bear Lake because you could really rail around there. Not that I would exceed the speed limit or anything, but
No, we never do that.
no, no, no.
And I've experienced both sides of it, right? I've had those real low center of gravity loads, but I've had those real high center of gravity loads too.
Oh yeah,
And there is nothing that makes my palms more sweaty than a high center of gravity load. I don't
yeah.
enjoy them one bit.
No, I agree because especially you're always kind of worried that something's going to shift, eh? Because just a little bit of a shift with something that's high center of gravity can sort of flop you on your lid, right? So.
Well, there was a wreck within the last 2 years in Whitecourt. I'm sure everybody that's in the industry seen the security camera footage from across the road, right? There's a prime example. And all that was just the pitch of the road, as far as I know. And then because of the pitch of the road, and I don't know 100% that this is how it went down. So if anybody wants to message me that was involved and correct me, I will put it on the next episode. But from my understanding is they were dodging a warning board and just pressured up a line on a hydraulic suspension trailer, and it blew, and that was that. Over she went.
Oh geez, eh?
Yeah.
I don't think I saw anything about that, but I guess I'll have to have a look at check it out.
Yeah, I'll
Am I
track it
not doing
down.
my homework?
It was at the 32 and 43 intersection there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll
Bad
have to
time
track
for
that down.
everybody involved.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, anytime stuff like that. Like, I mean, you hate to see it, right? Doesn't matter who it is. I mean, it's not. It's never good when something ends up on its side. I know,
No.
like, not to beat a dead horse about the logging thing, but I mean, I saw plenty of trucks on their sides, and I mean, sometimes you knew it was driver error, but you still hate to see it, right? Um,
Yep. 100%.
Actually, a lot of the time it was driver error, but still not something you want to look, not something you ever want to see.
No. No. Nobody wants a bad day like that. I've had a few of them, and yeah, they're no fun. They
Yeah, it's
stick with
funny.
you too.
Not to go back to that, but that thing, that pump that I hauled, I put it up on Instagram, and one of the guys that I follow on there, Rob, he had hauled it years ago with Rainbow. I think it was with Rainbow, anyways. But he'd hauled basically the same pump, and he was telling me that they put it on. It was like probably one of the first times they ever hauled it, and so the guys at the mill wanted to load it over top of the tridums on the back of a highboy.
Oh no.
And yeah, I'd like to talk to him sometime in person and see and hear him explain it. But he basically said that the first corner he went around, because it was such a high center of gravity and a worn out old highboy, all of a sudden there was wheels in the air and everything. Never flipped over, but totally twisted the trailer. Like it was just a total mess. And so then they had to come out with a big crane and unload it and reload it onto a heavier duty step. And then he finally did get it hauled down to Vancouver. And yeah, anyways, the place that rebuilds these things used to be in like downtown Vancouver, which I guess is a real bitch to get into. And yeah, so it's kind of interesting that we hauled the same load like 20 years apart, 30 years apart.
Yeah, that's pretty nifty, eh? Cool how
Yeah,
stuff like
and
that works out.
yeah, and how they that's how they decided it doesn't get hauled on a highway anymore.
I can definitely see how that would happen. Like if your leveling valve is only on one side, like say your leveling valve is on the driver's side of your trailer, and you go around a corner and it pressures down on that driver's side, well, now your leveling valve's going to start adding air, and yeah, just punt it right over. Not a good deal at all.
Yeah, and the I think it was the drive axle. Maybe it was the drives that ended up twisted up or something. I can't remember, but yeah, I'll have to look back and see, or maybe like say if I got a chance to talk to Rob, it'd be kind of interesting to find out.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I've been pretty lucky with loads like that. I haven't experienced anything where it kicked over like that. So yeah.
Well, I don't mean to cut this short today, but
Yeah.
I have company coming here right away. The fella's coming over. He's unloaded out in Houston, BC. Good buddy of
Oh yeah.
mine, and
Yeah.
he's reloading on tomorrow in Spruce Grove. So I'm en route, and I got a yard that I can get a Super B in here, so anybody else should. So
Right on.
I'll have to let you go for now. And enjoy your chat with your dad there, and we will talk to you later.
Yeah, you betcha, man. Have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll catch you down the road next week.
Yeah, you betcha. Have a good one, buddy.
You've been listening to the Semi Crazy Podcast.
If you enjoyed it, please subscribe. You can find me on Instagram, Luke Dirk Phillips.
And you can find me on Instagram, Semi Crazy Inc., and on Facebook, Semi Crazy Truck Pictures. Thanks for listening.